Right, in the previous tutorial we have seen how we can handle duplicate field related issues, and now let's see how we can handle another type of errors, which is validation errors. So now let's say if I try to create a post with a title of 1 character, this is a validation error, right? Because in our model it clearly specifies the minimum length of the title should be at least 3 characters, otherwise it will invoke this error as an error response. So now if I invoke this function, it simply says something went wrong, right? So which means in our production level it doesn't aware of what sort of an error that has been passed by the model. But if I switch into the development level and restart the server and return execute this function again, it clearly says it's a post validation error with respect to the title, and it is smaller than 3 characters. So this is happened because the errors invoked by the model doesn't aware of our app error class, right? So therefore whenever a model related error invoked, which means validation error invoked, inside this global error handler and inside this production environment, we need to specifically say, okay, if it is an validation error, then catch it and make a error object like in the app error class, right? So if you look at the error messages, you can say it is a validation error as well. So this is the attribute that we need to catch, right? Okay, so it is again somewhat similar as we done previously. So here I will define another function for, let's say, handling validation errors. So const let's say handle validation error db and error as a parameter, and yeah, so it should generate some sort of a message. Let's say invalid input data, something like that. This would be equal, and it must return app error object by encapsulating our message with the status code of 400. And now we can define another if block over here like that, and I will simply name it as handling validation errors, and the error name should be validation error, something like that, and it need to call this function. Right, now I need to switch back to the production level, restart the server and invoke this method again. Yeah, it still says something went wrong. Yeah. Yeah, so I have entered a wrong error name, so here it should be validation error, right? So I have copied the different attribute value. Now if I invoke this function, it will say yes, invalid input data. So basically the model related validation errors are now handled, but still it doesn't show to the client what sort of an validation error, right? So currently it is an error related to the title, but likewise any data can be has validation errors. So which means these sort of validation errors are list of errors, right? So we need to handle these sort of errors by mapping each error with a relevant error message. Otherwise, if there is multiple errors, we won't be able to generate a simple message like this, right? So yeah, so if I demonstrate what it was, so simply let's make a development error. So now it says the title is the one which has the error, right? But let's say our content is also small, then it simply says, okay, our title is also small and the content is also small, right? So these sort of errors we need to combine together and make a single error message text, right? So we can do that by using map function. So first let's go to the global error handler and handle validation errors db, and let's construct that as well, errors. So object dot values that relies on this error dot errors, and map like this, and for each item get the message, right, and wrap it to the necessary error string, right? Then this error string can be which means this is error array, so this array of strings can be joined as a single string. So I will go to this section and I need to use backticks, otherwise I don't use parameters inside this text generations. So error dot join, and join whenever it encounters dot and a space, right? Because if you look at this message, it consists this line, this symbol, and this space character. Alright, so now let's switch back to the production level and restart the server and invoke this method again. Yeah, now it simply says invalid input, title can't be smaller than 3 characters and content can't be smaller than 3 characters as well. So this is sort of a user friendly error message to the client, right? So client will know what is the error and how it can be fixed. So he can simply fix it by specifying the necessary data in the correct format. Then once it was done, it will simply posted as a correct post. Alright, so that's how we can handle different types of database errors. So we have gone through a lot of types of errors. So when it comes to the database, we have seen how to handle invalid ID related errors and duplicate field related errors and validation related errors as well. And instead of that, we constructed this different app error class as well as the global error handling script, which globalize or centralize our error handling mechanism in a more advanced way. And I think mainly those are the error related stuff that we need to cover when it comes to the database side. And yeah, the next video we'll see look at more error handling stuff. And yeah, thank you.